afternoon, and thank you for joining us here at the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce. I am Kaylin Jorge, the Chief Communications, Development, and Policy Officer, and I'm joined here by Brian Dayton, the VP of Policy and Advocacy. And we're going to try something different this week. Just look at the session from a conversational standpoint. It is day 59 of the session, so it ends tomorrow at midnight, and all eyes are on the Golden Dome. So Brian, let's dive right in. Let's start with HB 2152 prompt pay. I know that has to do with state vendors.
It does, and just first of all, I promised Kaylin I was still going to say this. Happy Masters Weekend for all who celebrate. I've got my gear on, so those of us who are ready for the session in tomorrow night are really excited because there's some great golf the next 3 days. So the Prompt Pay Act, that is a good piece of legislation that passed. What it's going to require is any state agencies that have vendor payments that are due, if they don't pay those within 45 days, they will have to publish that and make it known. So it allows greater transparency and more of an ability to hone in and make sure those payments are being processed. This is especially important. We have a lot of people, for example, contractors doing work for the state that are having to use lines of credit sometimes to get forward until they get the money that's owed to them from the state. So this is just a way to make sure that we're paying our bills on time.
Great. Now, where is that in the legislative process?
So that is completed legislation, so it's now pending before the governor. So that has gone through the process.
Wonderful. Now, something that was pending before the governor that I know was signed into law this week was SB 458. The chamber actually chimed in on that. We have a quote from Steve Roberts in the press release. Could you give us the rundown on that?
Sure. So that is the Universal Occupational Licensing Act. So really what that's designed to do is just to help with our workforce. And so if you have an occupational license from one state, to really boost that reciprocity and make sure that we're honoring those. This was something that we've been working at for a number of years and making some chips away. This kind of was the final piece of that to really put that in place and just help with workforce participation, especially people who are moving here. The spouse may be moving here for a job and their spouse has an occupational license, helps them get into the workforce much faster.
Yeah. West Virginia is a border state. We have states all around us, so a lot of people live in that tri-state area, so that's great for universal licensing. Now let's move on to HB 2711, the rule of perpetuities. I know we've been following this for several weeks in our legislative updates. Where are we at now?
So that bill has also completed the legislative process. The rule of perpetuities this bill extends the rule of perpetuities to 1,000 years, and that's important because we've seen some states that have done this really have an explosion in their trust business within banking departments. It's just designed to help make this a better state to establish and manage trusts.
And where are we at in the legislative process?
It's done. It's now pending before the governor. So that's a bill that we've been trying to get done for a few years now, and so happy to see that one finalized.
Yeah, got some wins heading into the final stretch of the session. Now, let's turn our attention to HB 2014 with microgrids. I know that this has gotten a lot of attention on a lot of different sides. What's going on now?
So that bill is on third reading with a right to amend today in the Senate. Any bills, we believe the calendars, they want to complete their calendars today, so they would pass third reading bills today. Could still pass one tomorrow. But the microgrid bill has been an interesting bill. We have some chamber members who are very supportive of that legislation. We have some chamber members who are not supportive of that legislation. So from that bill's standpoint, we have remained largely neutral. We do not want to see that bill get amended in a harmful way. That's been something we've been encouraging it to stay relatively clean because there have been some potentially troublesome amendments that we are optimistic won't go on. That would be good from that standpoint. But it'll be interesting to see what that bill's prognosis is in the Senate. It passed the House 88-12, but it will be up for debate in the Senate probably today. They could delay it till tomorrow, but it'll be an interesting bill to see if that one clears the finish line. It is also a top priority of the governor, so it is interesting. He has been very much pushing that bill. A lot of legislative leaders have been pushing that one as well, and it's really comes back to it's all designed to help bring data centers in. And so that is the really driving force behind that legislation.
Now, could you give us an over/under? Do you have an inkling of what's going to happen with it? I know it's going to be some interesting debate in the Senate.
It's going to be close. We think it could be very, very close on how that vote goes. And really the argument comes down to, are these microgrids needed in order to bring data centers in? The other side of it is some of the power companies are arguing, no, they can provide the electricity needed for these data centers because these centers are extremely energy intensive. That they require a great deal of energy, and that's what this really comes down to.
Thank you. Now there's a couple bills that it might not be more about what was added into the language, but maybe what was removed. Let's start with HB 2776, some vaccine language.
Well, so probably what was added in and then subsequently taken back out. So a few weeks ago, the West Virginia Chamber helped lead a coalition to advocate against Senate Bill 460. Senate Bill 460 would have vastly weakened our school immunization laws. We're in the middle of a measles outbreak in the United States right now that's already claimed 3 lives, 2 of whom are children. It's really tragic. This is a disease that is entirely preventable with good vaccination rates. So thankfully, we have not seen any cases in West Virginia. And that is owing to the fact that in order for children to attend public school in West Virginia, they have to have a series of vaccinations, including the MMR vaccine, which covers measles. Senate Bill 460, as it entered the House on its day of debate, it had a religious exemption in there that was simply masquerading as a philosophical exemption. Basically, you didn't want to take that vaccine, sign a napkin and say, I don't want to take it, and you don't have to. So that was a really problematic bill. That bill was defeated by a vote of 56 to 42 on the House floor. That was a resounding defeat of that bill. Fast forward to this week. House Bill 2776 relates to alpha-gal disease and reporting positive alpha-gal tests to the CDC. And the Senate Health Committee amended in, we questioned whether it was even germane, but they amended in language that basically would have added in that religious exemption, masquerading as a philosophical exemption, right back into our school immunization laws. So that bill came out of the Health Committee on Monday, and last night they decided to withdraw the Health Committee amendment. So that was a victory right there, because we were back to having a live grenade on school vaccination laws.
Now, is there any chance that school vaccination laws could be brought up again in anything else that's moving through?
You know, it's unlikely at this point. Both chambers are done with second reading, so they would have to find a bill on third reading with right to amend. So you never want to say never, but we should be. There was another bill, House Bill 2402, where the same thing happened. On Tuesday, that bill dealt with the medical records of minors. And again, probably was germane in this case, but language was added in that you would not be able to request any records on the immunization status of students enrolling in school. Well, there's the backdoor way on that. So thankfully that bill had come out of Senate Health in that condition, and thankfully yesterday they also pulled that amendment back. So it was taken out of there as well.
Can you tell our viewers why, vaccination, why this is a business issue and why the Chamber engaged on it this year?
So, the Chamber does care about good health and good public health. We have a number of members in the healthcare community, but what I would say is, as I remind people all the time, we have members in every industrial sector in West Virginia. Collectively, they employ over half of West Virginia's workforce. We didn't have a single member call us and say this is a good idea. We had countless members in countless sectors say this is a bad idea. But really, it comes down to, immunization. You have to have strong enough immunization rates in order to have herd immunity to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. And if that immunization rate drops low enough, those diseases can start to spread. And we are seeing that. We're seeing that right now as a measles outbreak that was thought to be eradicated 25 years ago. There's a measles outbreak spreading across the United States. Thankfully, it hasn't hit here. And part of that is because of our laws.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to add?
The session is going to end constitutionally at midnight tomorrow. We think the budget will be done. In the past, sometimes they've extended this into a special session for a few days to finish up work on the budget. At this point, the House passed a version of the budget last night. They've been working back and forth with the Senate. So there's a good chance that will be done maybe today, if not tomorrow, and wrap that up. It has been a challenging session. This has not been one where we've seen a lot of economic development. We've spent a lot of time trying to remove provisions from bills, especially Senate bills, that would make it easier to sue businesses, churches, schools, and child care centers. That's been frustrating, especially when we've been working so hard to bring our laws into the mainstream. So it has been a challenge. There have been a few bright spots. We talked about a few good bills that have gone through, but overall this has been a challenging session, and I don't think we're alone in that assessment. I've talked to countless legislators who say the same thing. Other trade groups, other organizations who are involved with the Capitol, they're saying the same thing. So I think a lot of people are ready for midnight tomorrow.
Yeah, I can feel that. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. And I know that Brian has a lot more to say. Next Tuesday, we have our legislative recap. So we'll go over what passed this session, what didn't pass, and how it impacts businesses. That is Tuesday at 2 p.m. via Zoom. So please register. Registration is free. And come to ask questions. You know, we want to answer your questions and engage with you. So with that, I will say thank you very much. Thank you, Brian.
All right, thank you.